34 right here on this field behind me. Allegiant Stadium. It was an overtime game. It was awesome. The environment behind me. I mean, it's quiet now. They're cleaning up, but just a few hours ago, it was just as loud for both teams. You don't see an NFL game like that, but there were probably 70 to 75% 49ers fans in the stands. A lot of red, but I give the Raiders fans credit for being really, really loud as well. And Nick Bosa, I mean, I was telling this to Spencer Burford in the locker room. I said, I've never seen anything like it where it's ear-splitting noise in support of both teams. Whenever the 49ers do something well, their fans going crazy or, forcing the Raiders to go on a silent count. Other way, too. Raiders fans making a whole lot of noise. And Nick Bosa's sitting right by Spencer Burford in the locker room, and he just says, yeah, that was really cool. Unprompted, Nick Bosa said that was one of the coolest playing environments that he's been in. But the 49ers today, this was a huge win for them for a number of reasons. In the big picture, they move up in the playoff positioning. 49ers are now the number 2 seed. Minnesota just got their asses kicked by Green Bay, and Philadelphia also lost. So the 49ers, the 1 seed is still in play if the New York Giants beat the Philadelphia Eagles next week and the 49ers take care of business as expected against the Arizona Cardinals. The 49ers will be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Completely wild, right? And the number 1 seed would come with tremendous advantages. You essentially automatically win a playoff game because you have the bye, right? But you also don't play at all on the road no matter what happens because everybody's seated beneath you. But even rising up to the 2 seed today was very, very important for the 49ers because we've talked about this. You get an automatic 2 home games in the playoffs, assuming that you win that first one. And Philadelphia, with Jalen Hurts injured right now, that shoulder sprain might be worse than they're letting on. Philadelphia's vulnerable. They lost to the Saints today, and if Philly does lose in their divisional round game to, maybe the Cowboys, 49ers, even with a 2 seed, would be lined up to have home field advantage throughout the whole playoffs. So what happened on this field today at Allegiant Stadium? I'm going to walk out of the stadium here in a little bit, get to dinner. What happened on this field today was really, really important for the 49ers. They got the job done with playoff implications on the line. Now, I talked about the atmosphere. It was awesome. Now, I could even spin this around. Why don't we take a look at what this stadium looked like? I mean, it was, the flame is still going out there at Allegiant, right? You see the field, the natural grass, but this place was hopping. And as soon as you saw the energy in this building, I think it wasn't hard to understand how this might be a tough game for the 49ers because rivalry games are rivalry games. The NFL will humble you really, really quickly. That's what Nick Bosa said after the game at his post-game press conference. And the 49ers defense got humbled today. The Raiders offense wasn't terrible entering this game, but obviously they replaced their quarterback, Derek Carr, with Jarrett Stidham. Nick Bosa acknowledged that the 49ers actually underestimated Jarrett Stidham, the Auburn product, and their rushing lanes were bad. He was taken off running for 3 or 4 first downs in the first half. Deommodore Lenoir had a tough time covering. Even when the 49ers did have Charvarius Ward on Davante Adams made some excellent plays. Darren Waller is too tall to cover, really for anyone. I mean, he was roasting players left and right. 49ers actually came out, the underestimation happened in the first drive. They thought that Jarrett Stidham, backup quarterback, would show up and the Raiders would just run, because Josh Jacobs actually leads the NFL in rushing yardage. He came in at over 1,500 yards. So the 49ers were just playing the run really hard on the first drive, and the Raiders, got to give Josh McDaniels credit, they ran a ton of play fakes to expose the 49ers' aggressiveness, right? So you had Darren Waller score that touchdown over Talanoa Hufanga, who bit too hard on that first drive. And, that really set the tone for a bad 49ers defensive performance. The Raiders were running successfully. The Raiders were passing successfully. The 49ers were forever off balance, and the Raiders used those premier weapons. Darren Waller, way taller than Deommodore Lenoir, right? Way taller than anybody, just as fast as anybody on the field. He was a marquee weapon. Davante Adams, we all know he's a marquee weapon. And Josh Jacobs, Nick Bosa said that's the best running back that he's ever faced, without a doubt. So great game plan by the Raiders offense to get the ball into the hands of these premier players. And that put the 49ers defense in a true bind. But what happened was, in the larger picture, this was like the 2019 New Orleans game. Even the best defenses are going to struggle at times. The 49ers this year have had a lot of good defensive games, but they had stinkers against Atlanta, against Kansas City, and today against the Raiders. The difference between this game against the Raiders and Atlanta and Kansas City is that the 49ers offense did enough to win this one. And that's a big step forward for the team. So when I'm in the locker room, everybody in that locker room is talking about, oh, this was like New Orleans in 2019. We needed that win over the Saints that year, the 49ers said, because we needed to show that our offense could come from behind, that our offense could win an explosive game if the defense didn't show up. And that's exactly what happened today. Great football teams are built with three complementary pillars: offense, defense, and special teams. Because this is the NFL. You cannot expect the offense, defense, and special teams to all fire simultaneously every single week. The other guys are paid too. They're going to challenge you too. The Raiders offense challenged the 49ers today, and it was the 49ers offense that responded by winning the shootout against the Las Vegas Raiders. So that complementary formula is what the 49ers were talking about in their locker room. They said, we needed to have an offense first game to show ourselves that we can do it. And it's not like they've been lacking in offense in recent weeks. In 3 of Brock Purdy's 4 starts at QB, the 49ers have put up at least 35 points. Brock Purdy has the highest passer rating of any quarterback in football over his first 4 starts. This is a tremendous story, but what made today even more special is that Purdy fought through some adversity. The adversity happened late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. He underthrew George Kittle, didn't see the backside cornerback coming over. 49ers had set up a touchdown. If Purdy leads Kittle, it's a score. But he underthrows him because he didn't see the corner coming, and it's an interception. Then he misses Jawan Jennings and Kittle on deeper passes. 3 straight misses. Purdy was off. It was clear that he was off. And it was the first time that he was off, at such big spots in these games over his starts. So our question was, how's Brock Purdy going to respond? And our answer was, Brock Purdy's going to go back to the bench. Brian Greasy's going to calm him down, say, fall back on your training. Get back on those timing routes. The 49ers have been working on Brock Purdy's timing with increasing regularity because he's healing from the oblique injury. This week, they challenged Brock Purdy at practice to get the throw out on time on those crossers, and boom, that's exactly what he did. Brandon Ayuk took over the game late. 5 catches for Brandon Ayuk down the stretch, and all of those slants, those are precise timing plays. They might look easy on TV, but it's not easy when that's the centerpiece of the 49ers offense. They try to go slants over the middle to set up Yak. Precision pass game. That's what they aim for every single down. So the defenses aren't stupid. They're waiting for it. The linebacker has to drop back, and he tries to get his arm to that throwing lane. And it's Brock Purdy's job to be precise enough, good enough with his eyes, deceptive enough with his eyes to manipulate the linebacker and then deliver the ball on time. And he did that down the stretch of this game. This was high-level, impressive stuff from Purdy and the 49ers offense. Now, Ayuk had over 100 receiving yards, and he's only 54 yards shy of a 1,000-yard receiving season. He could get that in the finale next week. So big milestone coming up for Brandon Ayuk. But we can't talk about the 49ers offense without talking about Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he just spaces out the whole field by becoming, a premier eligible receiver. Now, it's a complete joke that McCaffrey is not a Pro Bowler. A complete joke. The NFL should investigate why he's not a Pro Bowler, because he's very arguably a top 5 player in the league. Completely has transformed the 49ers offense. Had some close to 200 all-purpose yards today, 6.8 per carry rushing the football. But what he did out of the backfield, to space the field, make some nice catches from Purdy, beat the blitz. The Raiders were just lighting the 49ers up with blitzes, at least 12 of them over this game. Well, Shanahan was in his bag calling these screen passes to roast the Raiders from blitzing. And how do you defend this offense if Brock Purdy can the blitz with a quick release, and then Christian McCaffrey's out there creating space, or Ray McLeod's on a screen creating space? I mean, the 49ers offensive linemen were blocking their asses off downfield. The screen game was called at just the right time, to the point where the 49ers were able to overcome a game in which their defense allowed 500 yards from the Raiders, and a game in which the 49ers penalized themselves 9 times, 71 yards. So again, this 49ers offense, we opened the season talking about the defense being a juggernaut, offense trying to catch up. Offense has caught up. 35 points here in 3 of their past 4 games. Today, offense, I mean, just lighting the world on fire despite having some struggles. This is an explosive offense that's also a juggernaut. Juggernaut offense, I think the juggernaut 49ers defense will be back. As I said, defenses, great defenses. Even the 2000 Ravens got lit up. Even the 85 Bears got lit up by Marino. They gave up 38 points. So, the 49ers defense is probably good right now, not great yet. We have to see how they bounce back for this and do in the playoffs. But they are the best defense in the league in this modern era of football. And you can, safely assume that they're not going to put up another stinker like this anytime soon. I think the 49ers defense, I mean, there are holes, right? Diamondo Lenore got picked on today, but the Raiders have the personnel to pick on you with how tall Waller is. How good Devontae Adams is. Josh Jacobs sets it up with a nice run game. So, I mean, the Raiders are a good football team when it comes to offensive star power. They're not good at anything else because they have the worst defense in the league. They just set NFL history again. It was already NFL history. They've blown 5 double-digit leads in the second half and lost this year. So, I mean, the Raiders are bad in that regard. The 49ers capitalized on that. But where the Raiders can get you is with those elite skill position weapons. That's where they got the 49ers defense today. But the 49ers have won 9 straight. You don't win 9 straight in the NFL unless you're doing something right at every single level: offense, defense, and special teams. And what really stood out to me in this game is that the 49ers were resilient in all 3 phases. Brock Purdy had to bounce back from struggles, and he did. Finished up the game by lighting it up, especially on the screen passes and going to Brandon Ayuk, who took over the game. And the defense obviously had to bounce back from struggles. They gave up 500 yards today. But even the defense delivered plays that kept the 49ers in the running for winning this game. They had 2 goal line stands in the first half. Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, Dre Greenlaw, T.Y. McGill firing off the ball. I mean, the defense still made plays. Second half, Drake Jackson off the tip from Kerry Hyder Jr., the interception. And Drake Jackson's dad grew up and still is a Raiders fan, so it's kind of funny. How about raising your son so he beats your team? And Dennis Jackson, Drake's dad, sent me a picture. I'll put it up a little bit later. He's wearing half Raiders, half 49ers gear. You'll see it. He dies hard. He doesn't want to let that Raiders fandom die, but his son helped beat the Raiders with an amazing interception. I mean, Drake is fighting off a block as that ball's batted up into the air, and he hauls down the interception. I mean, that high-level pick for a rookie who's also near the league lead in batted passes. And then Kerry Hyder, I mean, what is he, your 8th defensive lineman? He's in there batting that ball away. And then your premier guy, Nick Bosa, didn't get a sack today because, I mean, you got to give credit to Jarrett Stidham, but Nick Bosa pushes Colton Miller, a good left tackle for the Raiders, right back into Stidham to cause the errant pass, the wobbler that Tashawn Gibson intercepts in overtime. This place was roaring. It was so loud as Gibson ran back and set up Robbie Gould's field goal. So defense had to bounce back from those struggles. I said offense had to, defense had to, and they did. Through those key plays, they delivered when it really, really mattered. And then the special teams had to bounce back because Robbie Gould missed the 41-yarder at the end of regulation, but he came on there and nailed through the winner in overtime. So resilient teams are the great teams. There are no perfect teams. There never has been a perfect team in NFL history. It's resilience and it's complementary football, the ability to pick up the offense when the offense is playing poorly, pick them up with defense. When the defense is playing poorly, pick them up with offense, vice versa, special teams in that mix. The teams that can do that are the ones that win. And the 49ers have now won 9 straight games. They haven't lost since October of last year. Happy New Year's, by the way. And I see this roll continuing to 10 next week. And then if that happens, they only have a few more wins to go until they're Super Bowl champions. That is the point here. It's not that the Raiders racked up a lot of yards against the 49ers. It's like, no, the 49ers found a way to win a rivalry game through a different type of formula, and great teams can have the ability to win through different formulas depending on the circumstances. It was, and sit back for a while. Happy New Year again. Let's just enjoy where, football has taken us. This is supposed to be entertainment. And this was a wildly entertaining game. This was an instant classic on this field here at Allegiant Stadium. Awesome, awesome crowd. I know people paid a lot of money for tickets. Well, they got their money's worth in this game. From Brock Purdy with a off-schedule pass to George Kittle for the 49ers' second touchdown. Jawan Jennings was a dog for the 49ers today. Christian McCaffrey lighting things up. Bosa coming through. Big players coming through when it really matters. Goal line stands, interceptions, ear-splitting noise. This was a game that you will remember for decades to come. Are you not entertained, right? I see the comment there. This was a Maximus "Are you not entertained" game. 49ers Raiders, the rivalry meant a lot. It was something special. So, use that as perspective, because the 49ers are, right now they're the number 2 seed. Everything's going well for them. They have an NFL long win streak. Brock Purdy's developing. They're happy that he overcame adversity. I mean, how big is that Brock Purdy overcame adversity for the 49ers? Instead of everything just going right, he bounced back. I mean, today was a really, really good day for this football team. And they move forward to Week 18 against Arizona with a shot at that 1 seed. All right, this is going to be the walk out of the stadium. So why don't I flip this camera around, grab my backpack, and I got to be quiet in case some people are still writing. What time is it, by the way? Somebody comment the time. Need to know what time it is. This is where the media meal was here at Allegiant Stadium. These are all booths, and you can see the field. 8:30. All right, I gotta roll. Time for me to roll. Gotta get out to dinner. Hopefully get out of the stadium quick. All right, elevators over here. Oh, updates on injured players. I'll give one from the elevator. Give me 1 second. See which one of these elevators comes first. Those are the guys who saw the stadium tour. They're thinking MCL for Aaron Banks, but they're not sure. So first, give me a chance to figure out which floor I need to go to exit the stadium. We're getting visiting teams coaches elevator first.
Going down.
All right, how do I get out of here? Probably 100. They're gonna test him more tomorrow. Aaron Banks, they're afraid it's an MCL, would leave him out for a few weeks depending on the severity. MRI expected, but not confirmed MCL yet for Aaron Banks. I saw him in a locker room. He seemed to be in decent spirits, but let's just wait and see as far as Aaron Banks goes. I think I'll be at the
100.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be at the right section here at level 100. I got a dinner reservation I gotta be at here. Ooh, that is, oh, maybe this is it. Let's see. See if we can get out of this place. This may or may not be the correct area. Oh boy. Probably have to get down one more. You know what, guys? When the going gets tough and it's hard to get out of the stadium, that's usually when David Lombardi gets going off of his live. I will give this one more look, but I am now surrounded by like fighter jets and I'm a little too high up off the ground. So yeah, I'm gonna get going because I gotta go in a hurry. So get out to dinner. Anyway, 49ers 37, Raiders 34, overtime. It's a game you're gonna remember for a long time. That's why I'm showing you Allegiant Stadium here, because it's a new one. Go and check out the other stadium tour. Go and check out all the other content. Much more coming soon. But this has been Lombardi Leaves Allegiant. Wish me luck as I try to find an exit and make my dinner reservation in time.